Hello everybody. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I wanted to update everybody on what's been going on. I'm attempting to make my family dinner tonight. It's July 10th 2008, and I'm making meatloaf, and my niece and nephew and my sister, and they are coming over for dinner. Well, I'm actually cooking at my mom's house while she's out of town, in Atlanta, visiting my brother. So she's having a good old time. So I just felt like, they can get some of her cooking, because this is her recipe. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to cook them some dinner, some meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn, actually. So, but yeah, I wanted to talk about some things. I know in recent videos I was talking about, being locked up, incarcerated, and having to deal with that, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I ended up, some stories that happened while I was in there. I want to talk about this one story in particular. I'm gonna be moving around a little bit, y'all, so bear with me. But I wanted to talk about this one story in particular. When I first went to D&E, the Diagnostic Center. When I first went to D&E, it was scary because they end up putting me in a unit that they call the Gangbang Unit. And it was scary because I knew I wasn't a gang member, and I was like, okay, why y'all putting me in this unit? 1 second. Sorry about that. Kind of unprofessional. But yeah, it was the Gangbang Unit, and they, I was younger. I was, 19 going on 20. So, they felt like, that's where I belong. And so that's where I ended up going. And so in here, I made sure, I was, make sure I was okay. I met a couple people before I went in there, so I was okay with that. But at the same time, I was nervous. I was scared. I was sad because my family wasn't there with me. My mom wasn't there. Who's usually the person that's holds me down. Is my mom and my grandma. I know I had to do it. I couldn't just leave. I couldn't just ask the people, oh, well, can I go? Can I leave? I couldn't do that. I wish I could have, but I couldn't. So I had to just buckle down and do the time. And that's what I ended up doing. I had my Bible with me. And long story short, I used to carry my Bible, and I used to sit at a table by myself because I didn't really know nobody in there. So as I sat at this table, I started, reading the Word, reading different scriptures, that my grandma would send me, that would help me during that time in there. And, different scriptures and different verses, and, and I would pray and just thank God, for, being with me, there, and just praying for strength, praying for, peace of mind, the peace of mind that I can get, being locked up at 19 and 20 years old. But as days go by, I was, doing a lot of, reading and praying and getting to know different people. And all of a sudden, like, weeks go by, maybe even a month or so went by, and all of a sudden, these people started coming to my table, asking what I was doing, seeing what what I was over there reading, you know, and I, you know, introduced them, you know, to what I was reading, and they began to sit down with me, and it was amazing. It was amazing that some of these guys in there, you know, who were in there for maybe murder, they were in there for armed robbery, you know, they were hardened criminals. They wanted to hear and see what I was doing, and I told them, you know, this is what I'm doing, you know, this is what I'm reading, and they were interested. They had Bibles in their rooms, and you know, all of a sudden we all sat down and at the table, and we had like Bible study, you know, every week. And Bible study was something that we did every day. The guards couldn't believe it. The guards couldn't believe that some of the inmates who weren't getting along with, you know, some of the other inmates were getting along. You know, we were all sitting down at the table. You know, we were all sitting down reading the word. We would go over different scriptures. Everybody would bring a different scripture they want to go over, and we all, you know, kind of just pray about it and kind of discuss it. And, you know, it got to a point where we would get up and we would all get into a circle and, you know, pray about each other, you know, or for each other. And it was really enlightening to see, you know, what God did, you know, in that little time. And that's just one of the things that, you know, I experienced. And it's been several different things that God has opened up while I was in there. And I just wanted to let you guys know that was on my mind. I was just thinking about that. And different things, you know, I was singing, you know, they always wanted me to sing a song, so I would lead a song, and we would all sing together, and we would even join hands. And we got to the point where, you know, we were having different meetings where we would all meet up and just eat, you know, whatever we can find to eat. You know, in there was like a lot of soups and you know, a lot of honey buns and a lot of different things that you can eat. And we would bring them all together, and then people that didn't really have commissary, didn't really have food, you know, from their families and support, you know, we would make like a basket, you know, for them. You know, we really couldn't do that, but the guards really didn't mind it, you know, because we were all getting along. And I never knew to this day. Sometimes I think about those faces who were sitting down, you know, at that table, you know, praying and reading. You know, I think about like what are they doing now with their lives, you know? You know, did this help them any? You know, because a lot of them weren't even aware of praying and the word and stuff like that. And so I'm not saying that it was me, because I was never perfect by no means, you know. I went in there because I knew this is what I knew. This is what I knew. When I got into trouble, this is what I knew. And my grandmother taught me that. And I can honestly say I took that with me, you know, because of her. You know, she sent me Bible verses, and, you know, some things that I didn't understand, I would go to her and be like, you know, hey, one of the guys wanted to know this about John the Baptist, or, you know, they wanted to know this. And she would explain to me, and I would take notes, you know, for the next day when we all met up again. You know, we would all discuss it, and I would let them all know what she said, and, you know, and so we would discuss it, and we would have a really good time. And like I said, I mean, it wasn't much of a gangbang unit after that. I mean, there were still arguments and still, you know, fights and everything, but the guards were really mesmerized, you know, by the quiet times. You know, we sat down, we were able to discuss, you know, no arguing. You know, we were just getting something out of it. You know, and the singing even, you know, brought tears to some people's eyes, you know, in there. And one particular thing happened. This young guy, real young guy, and I had just seen him. I just seen him on TV. He had murdered one of his friends. And I remember this guy. He was a little guy. And this was back, like, remember when I was 19, so he was like maybe 17, because he was going to the juvenile detention center when he left the diagnostic center. So he was like maybe 17. He was young, and it was sad. You know, he was, you know, a hard guy. He had to put on this facade. You know, he was in a gang, and you know, he was in there for murder. And when he came in, we were having a meeting. And you know what he did? He came right over to our meeting and asked if we can pray for him or pray with him. And that was just something that I'll never forget. And I'm really hoping, I know he did life. They gave him life. And I really need to do some research to find out where he is now and how he's doing. You know, maybe even write him if I can get like all his information, just to see how he's doing and stuff, because I knew he was headed down a road of, God knows, only God knows. But at that time, I knew God knew what he needed. And he brought him, you know, to that unit at that time. And he was able to, you know, pray with us. He shed tears. He cried. And it was just amazing, you know. And even in there, people, you know, always criticize guys being locked up or girls being locked up in prison. But, you know, hey, sometimes God put you there for a reason, you know, and for you to learn different things, and maybe somebody else needs you. You know, you need to learn something. So you just never know why you're in a situation. So that was just one of the many different things that I went through, and I'll be sharing some more with you guys here. I just wanted to make a video. I haven't made one in a while. I apologize for that. So hope you guys enjoy my videos. Comment, like my videos, subscribe, and share it too. You know, let somebody else know. Hey, you know, even if you have a young nephew or a niece or something that needs some encouragement, you know, point them out to my page. You know, and if you want me to talk about something in particular, you know, comment, and I will. But I'm gonna continue making this meatloaf, because I know they will be here in a split second, and if they don't smell food, they'll probably be a little mad. So I'm gonna get done with this. Thank you guys very much again. Like I said, subscribe, and I will be back with another video soon. Thank you. God bless.